Okay, so we have covered previously a practical way to execute cross-site reflected cross-site scripting. Now, in this video, I'm going to show you how to practically execute, store the cross-site scripting, and how can you use that knowledge in order to protect yourself and protect your corporate's resources from these kind of attacks. It just needs input validation. All it takes just input validation to protect from these kind of attacks, especially cross-site scripting, reflected and stored. So it's very clear, point clear that cross-site scripting, especially stored cross-site scripting, is an attack in which an attacker is able to modify your website structure, especially the HTML, and able to store data in your database, basically modified your database. So an attacker can execute or input, scour your, let's say he can scour your website for any form, okay, any search input, any submission form, and try to input some kind of script. This script, if your site is vulnerable, will be able to modify your site structure, HTML code, execute actions on your behalf, and modify your database. That's all how dangerous cross-site scripting is. So let me demonstrate that practically. So suppose I'm a user, okay? Let me type password. Okay. The username is already in use. Okay, let's log in. Okay, so now I am a user on this site. Okay, and I wanna hack the site or steal the credentials of the admin. So for demonstration and educational purposes, I have this demo over here. Okay, this is a website that I have been authorized to do the testing on it. So let's search for a form or a vulnerable form on which we can execute cross-site scripting. So the vulnerable form in this web page, okay, so if I go to shop, no, it's not here. So I go to my profile, okay. So here I have a field which is dedicated for updating my biography. Actually, if I right-click and inspect, I can see that the method used in this form is post request, which is perfect candidate for cross-site scripting. And I have here two other fields to submit my information. So all I can do here is to craft a script that will be stored in the website's database. Okay, and whenever a user visits his or her own profile, their cookie will be sent to my server. How can I achieve this? I can achieve this using cross-site scripting, stored cross-site scripting. So over here, the ideal script would be using new image or image tag. Okay, so I have my script here, and I use image tag for this, and the source image is my server. Okay, so here I have my Kali server. Okay, and over here I have the document.cookie function, which will load the cookie of the target or of the user once they visit the profile web page or once they visit the vulnerable page. Their cookie will be populated, okay, encoded, and sent to my server. And I have wrapped all this up in one script. Okay, so if the form is vulnerable or if the web page is vulnerable, this script will be executed and stored in the website's database. So let me show you how this done before executing the script. So let me type arbitrary HTML code. So let's say H2. My new bio would be like hey hip 2, for example. Okay. Now, the ideal response for a secure web browser, okay, is my bio would be updated with only hip 2, and the browser will ignore the tags, the header tags. Why? Because I'm trying to execute HTML code, and because of the validation that is done on the server side, the code here, the tags will not be executed. Okay, but in the case where the form is insecure and there is no input validation on the server side, the code here will be executed, and I will have hip2 updated with h2 headers. So click on save. So you see hip2. My bio has been updated with hip2 and the header tags has been executed. So I can see here that whenever I'm able to modify the HTML code, okay, of the website, then I am able to modify the rest of the code, and I can modify the database as well. So if I go to Kali over here, and let's copy this. Let's click on update bio, and suppose that I am the attacker, and I have here the variable site, and I want to steal the cookie, okay, of everyone once they visit their profile web page. So I will input the script over here that will load the cookie and send it to my server. Click on save. Okay. Now, as you can see, the cookie, or sorry, the script has been stored. Okay. Now, if someone visits this web page other than me, their cookie will be sent to my server. How can I know that? I need to check my logs. So go to terminal, clear, and let's cat var uh, let's check if I have the okay. So cd var okay cd log okay cat access log. I will see the logs. That's fine. I think uh, so. We forgot to go to Apache 2. Okay, let's view the logs of the web server. Now I must have received if I refresh the page over here again, I must have received cookies on my server right now. Okay, so you can see many requests that have been done to the profile page. And if I take this cookie over here, the last one, what's happening here? Okay, so let's grab this cookie over here, and suppose that I want to use this cookie to discover whose this cookie is for. So I want to know if this cookie is for the admin or not. So I can now change my identity on the website by changing the session identifier. So I can go to inspect and go to console, and from here I can change my cookie using document. Okay. So using the command document.cookie, I can change the identity of my profile. So I can now change the cookie over here and click on enter, refresh the web page. I see it's the same user. Let's inspect the logs again. Let me try this one. Inspect, console. Let's change the session identifier to the one that we received in our logs. Refresh now. Okay, so you see here the user has been changed to Mercury, and it's clearly here that we can see that the user is admin. So I can now view the other users' information as now I am admin on the site. So that's how dangerous and critical is the stored cross-site scripting. Okay, so in a wrap-up, in any form on your website, you need to put an input validation. And I'm gonna walk you through how to secure your cookies while in transit and rest. Whenever you have a login mechanism or whenever you have users on your website, you need to secure every form on your website from cross-site scripting attacks, having input validation mechanisms in place, and having, of course, securing your cookies and your user's cookie actually from this kind of manipulations. So that's it for this video. Thank you so much.